Hi everyone, welcome to PantryRaider. My name is Colleen.
My name is Lillian.
And we are Team YOD. So our project is designed to help the UMass Student Food Pantry in Amherst. They have a lot of issues right now with how they're communicating within each other, with the public, as well as managing the daily functions of the pantry. So we wanted to make a tool for them to make that a little easier for them. So we designed a simple platform that was tailored for this pantry's specific needs. There were a couple existing solutions for pantry management, but unfortunately not all of them had all of the features that the pantry was looking for, and they were also pretty complicated to use. So we wanted to make one simple and easy to use system that was specifically for the UMass pantry. So the target audience for this platform was mainly community members who are interested in learning about the pantry. They might be interested in donating items or volunteering, as well as seeing what's currently in stock in the pantry if they're planning on giving us a visit. They can also register to become a volunteer. So once they're registered, they'll have a bunch of cool privileges. So they can manage their own schedule, they can log a transaction of incoming or outgoing items, communicate with other staff members, and then on top of that, administrators are able to manage the volunteers that are registered and create weekly schedules.
So the first of the major features that we worked on was inventory management. And that basically allows community members to come to the website and see what's in stock so that they can better plan their trip. It allows volunteers to check in items as they get donated or check them out as visitors come and take things. And it allows tracking and statistics of things like stock and traffic. So the first page is the inventory page that is public and allows people to search through and browse the stock for different items. So they first show up by category, and then as they type a keyword, these categories get filtered down to only things based on what the keyword was entered. And then they can also just filter down to only show one category by selecting type. On the volunteer side, volunteers can check in items by searching for an existing item, and which will autofill the category, or they can enter a new item and category, and then they enter the number of items that have been donated or are being distributed. And once they've finished the transaction, they enter the weight and send it off to the server. And these transactions allow statistics, so they show sort of the visitor traffic over time in terms of both donations and distributions. It can show the most popular items, and it can show the levels of stock and donations distributions over time. And this basically allows the food pantry to better allocate resources.
So the next big feature that we worked on was volunteer management. So this allows us to track who is currently volunteering for the pantry. So when someone's interested in volunteering, they'll need to register through the site. They take a training quiz to make sure that they're up to date on all the information. And then once that is submitted, they're able to sign up for shifts, edit what shifts they're signed up for, and admins can also manage these volunteer accounts and create schedules for the volunteers. So on the volunteer registration page, they'll just be asked to enter some information to get set up with an account, and this will only be displayed after they've completed a training quiz. And then once they log in, they'll see this dashboard here, which has everything kind of simply placed on one page for them. So they can see their upcoming shifts, they can see their most recent messages, and it also links to a bunch of other pages, so they can navigate to a page to update their schedule, a page to see their full inbox, a page to update the inventory, and a page to view different statistics, as well as edit their profile settings. On the scheduling page, they'll be able to see what shifts they're currently signed up for and edit those if they need to take themselves off of one, as well as register for new shifts. So they'll see a full list of the shifts available, as well as which shifts are currently open and which shifts are not. And then on the administration side of things, the administrators will be able to see a full list of volunteers. They can manage the permissions of those volunteers if they want to make one of the volunteers an admin, as well as delete any inactive volunteers.
So the final feature that we worked on was messaging, and there's two sides to this, both the public side, which allows the community and to come and give feedback to the pantry, and then also the internal user side where volunteers can communicate between themselves and admins can provide important information. So the first part is provided by a contact form, which can be anonymous. The name and email is optional. And this once they type their message and select their type, the message gets sent off and is received by one of the administrators in their inbox. On the other side, volunteers all have an inbox and they can email other volunteers or admins and get information about shift changes or ask questions, and admins can provide important updates to all volunteers. So the easiest parts of this project were really sort of the project planning, designing the front end, and how users were going to interact with things, as well as setting up the actual server and then hosting it was pretty straightforward. On the other hand, what made things hard was the fact that we are only 2 people to a team. Our third team member never showed up. And we also aimed to try to complete all of the 5 data types, 4+ user. And each of these data types had a lot of different nuances and were fairly independent, and which made things a lot harder, and also meant that we ended up with a lot more pages to design, program for, and handle. This also bled over into the database where on the items that were more relational, it made things difficult that we didn't have an ORM and we had to try to handle a lot of edge cases, and it was just very complex and time consuming. And we unfortunately, because of this, were unable to complete everything that we wanted to.
So in terms of future work we'd like to see on the project, obviously we have a lot of the different pieces of these features kind of implemented, but not everything is fully stitched together yet. So kind of completing that full project with the backend implementation and integrating the database. We also didn't get a chance to implement any login or authentication yet. So that would definitely be something that needs to get worked on in the future. We also had a future idea to create a full display page for a message so that you can kind of view it without it having to be within like other messages and isolate that specific message. We also want to include some more features for admins so that they can have an easier time dynamically managing the schedule. They can see associated users for log transactions. So kind of just who like checked in items or who checked out items. As well as the ability to modify the inventory and the items in the inventory directly, since right now they would have to go through transactions and there's no way to just directly edit that.